first of all, I grew up in Compton.
Right. That explains it.
Okay. And back then, you know, when you turn on your radio, you heard stuff like, let's take a trip down Whittier Boulevard back then.
Midnighters.
Yeah, Midnighters, and Midnight, and then of course, I'm in with the in crowd, Toby, right?
Yes.
And then, you know, Compton and East LA, right next door to each other. Long Beach, Watts, Compton, Harbor City, Wilmington, San Pedro, name it. So during that time, the only car club after the in crowd came the East LA Lowriders, and there was only two that was like making their voices heard, and that was the Imperial and the Dukes. And so what we did at the time, we recorded Lowrider since we were inspired by the streets.
And what year was that?
That you can't, don't ask.
Christopher Columbus just had a right.
Numbers I'm bad at. My ex-wife, she
70s.
can remember all numbers, especially my checks in the back.
I would say 72, right?
Yeah.
72, early 70s?
After the world's a ghetto.
Yeah, those things I'm real bad at. I'm not good with the
Early
years.
70s.
'Cause
Early 70s,
they were too
okay.
long ago.
Okay, so the environment was around you. You grew up around it. That's why you knew about the lowriders. And
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. And here's what happened. We used to have cameras, you know, the Bolex and the Boyus and the Niagara sounds. And we had it all, and we
High
had
tech in those days.
and we had access to UCLA at the time in the
Really?
film department. Yeah,
Really?
so anytime we did any filming, we were trying to film a documentary on us, but. Film got lost in the vault at the combination lock. It's hard to find. But anyway, we were doing a documentary, and we just so happened to also include the streets from being the fact that we were a reflection of the streets, because that's how we wrote our
So
music.
you're known as the original street band.
The fans wrote the music. We just picked up the pencils, just started writing what they gave us, because we all shared the same, you know,
The
the
same
same
environment.
everyday. Yeah, exactly. So. Lowrider, what we did was we filmed both clubs, because back then everyone affiliated car clubs as gangs.
Right.
But we were trying to show that they weren't.
They
were
weren't.
really into their cars, and what made their cars beautiful, even more beautiful, was a fine woman sitting next to them. That it wasn't the cars, it was the women then.
Right. And you can tell that by the magazine.
Exactly.
Right.
So when we filmed that, we gave, before we even released Lowriders, they were the first to have the tape, the cassette.
Really?
They were the first,
wow.
and they all started blasting it in their car all at the same time.
Now
and
you're
it was,
talking
all
about
you could
the
hear was all
Imperials?
out of sync.
Now you're talking about
The Dukes and
Imperials
the
and the Imperials.
and the
They're the
Imperials.
first to get your
They were the
cassette.
first to have it before it was even released on the radio. And they were playing it, I would say, maybe 2 to 3 weeks before the radio actually started playing it. And then we took the film, and it was during that time that we were going over to Europe via New York. We went to New York, and we used to use the film as our backdrops. We had 2 films that we showed, the Cisco Kid and Lowrider. So we showed the Cisco Kid first, then we put on the Lowrider, and people started freaking out. You got to understand, Lowriders were only known from LA to Albuquerque back then in the 70s.
Right.
No one knew.
No one knew
And
beyond
we
that.
took the film not only to New York and made all our way back after we came back from Europe. We went to Japan. We showed it. Japan, they really started freaking out. And they were like, look, they're bouncing, because we showed everything the cars can do and riding down the street. They freaked out. And then we would play Slipping in the Darkness. We had like a ball, a disco ball, and we shined these laser lights on it. And then,
light show.
yeah, so after the film, we really trip them out and just turn all the lights out and play Slipping in the Darkness. Really trip people out.
It was.
But we introduced the Lowriders to the rest of the world, you know, by way of film, because no one else
No
did,
one knew about
and
it.
no one else recorded any song called Lowriders. So we wanted to make sure that people understood the meaning behind the song without us having to explain it to them.